Because that, all right, very good. So I am 707-616-4837. That's the phone number, 4837.
Kyle, where are we here?
We
6:30-ish?
just need another minute. We're doing a little bit of training here.
Okay.
So here. Okay, so the phone number ends in 2662. Do we know whose phone that is?
Julie.
Okay, so that's Julie Woodall. And reading. Woodall. Click OK. And the other one is your phone number ends in 3050.
That's Gordon.
Okay, and that's Gordon. Johnson. Okay. And then I would just, here, let me look at it. And we have 1765. Uh, 498-1765. I'm gonna see if I can unmute you.
1765 is Karen.
All right, so it's Karen. All right, I think we're ready to begin, Mayor Harms.
All right. Call to order the regular meeting of the Rio Dell City Council, returning from closed session with nothing to report out. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garnes,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Woodall,
Here.
Councilmember Johnston,
Here.
Councilmember Strand,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
City Manager Knopp,
Here.
Chief of Police Connor,
Here.
Finance Director Dillingham,
Here.
Community Development Director Caldwell, Water Roadway Superintendent Jensen, Randy, are you here? Nope. Wastewater Superintendent Taylor,
Here.
and City Clerk Dunham's present. Thank you.
Randy is here.
Oh, thank you, Randy.
Thank you. See, we come in, we're reconvened. Public presentations.
What
This
about
is-
the pledge?
Well, it actually is not on the agenda, Julie.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you.
I can do it. I don't mind, but it isn't on the agenda. That's what I knew that was going to be a question, and I scoured it to find it, but it is not here on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, public presentations is the next thing on the agenda. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not intended. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. So are there any public comments that anyone is aware of? We'll give people time.
Mayor Garth, we did receive one public comment via email. However, it's related to the Danco item, so that person will speak at that time.
Okay, thank you.
And again, if anybody wants to give a public comment who's on the Zoom call, please dial *9 right now.
And so we have no one.
We do have one
Oh.
public comment from a phone number that ends in 5587. And we just lost it. 558. All right, 5587.
Hello?
Hello, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and welcome.
Hello, I'm Patrick Knight from 590 Pacific Avenue, and I'm calling about the nuisance property at 611 Wildwood.
Mhm.
And I'm at this point wanting to know if the council is aware of this property and has everybody received a copy of my complaint?
Is that, are you finished? Just,
No, do I keep going? I
yeah,
didn't know if
just keep
anybody
going for your,
responds.
you have 3 minutes, so just go ahead and,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
So anyways, I was wanting to know if anybody had received my complaints, and was wondering if Miss Woodall or Miss Strahan had received my emails with my attachments. I'm wondering why City Manager Kyle has not returned my calls over the last 6 weeks. I've left 2 messages. And I'm tired of the generator running all day, every day, week after week, month after month, and now year after year. And I was just hoping and wondering that maybe somebody was going to be doing something about this sooner than later. I was hoping that maybe you had read my complaints and our list of grievances, and maybe possibly about who we are. And, you know, we would definitely like a response back about this. And have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for calling in. As I don't know if you heard, as I was speaking about the public presentations, this really is not a time that the council can have a dialogue back and forth because everything has to be agendized. But
Okay.
I will say that I believe that the city is aware and taking up this issue. So,
Okay.
and I think that that's the extent of what I can say in this moment.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And maybe we'll be able to talk in a more normal circumstance someday.
Absolutely. Thank
All
you
right.
so
Have a good
very
evening.
much for calling in,
Thank
though.
you.
Thanks for sending in your letters so that we are actually aware of what's happening.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Are there any other calls, City Manager or Rosa?
So then I don't know if Julie Woodall, you make sure to unmute her.
Muted?
All right, you're
Oh.
unmuted, Julie.
Okay, I didn't receive an email, and I had my other phone ringing right at the time when he was talking. Can you tell me what the address was?
590 Pacific. And the complaint is 611 Wildwood.
Is on what? I'm sorry.
611 Wildwood.
Okay. No, I hadn't heard, but now I know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments, operator?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, thank you. Then at this time, we will move into the consent calendar. Is there any item that the council would like removed from the consent calendar? Mayor Pro Tem Woodall,
No.
Councilmember Strawn,
No.
Councilmember Johnson,
No.
Councilmember Wilson.
No.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
By Johnson, motion to accept the consent calendar.
Thank you. Is there a
I
second?
second.
That would be
I second.
Councilmember Woodall, Mayor Pro Tem Woodall. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Woodall,
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Strand,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Garnes.
Yes. Thank you. And now we will move to the staff, the city manager staff updates, page 105.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. Obviously, we've had a lot of construction work ongoing for the past month or two, and also ramping up today is our slurry seal project. Part of it that is ATP, and the other part is also city-funded project. So that is currently ongoing. And we did receive some additional COVID-19 PPE supplies through the Arcata Economic Development Corporation and Mayor Seaman of Eureka. And so the Volunteer Corps was able to distribute those. There will be doing another distribution later this week to distribute the remaining supplies. And with that, I'll go ahead and return it to the council to see if there's any other questions on the staff.
Okay, and I will then, thank you, city manager. I will say that there was the signs that the city had made, no masks, no service. There was, and from the Arcata Economic Development Corporation, there was hand sanitizer and masks, just so we all know what those supplies we were talking about. Anyway, council, are there any questions for staff? Mayor Pro Tem Woodall,
No.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes, thank you, Mayor Garnes. In my packet, there is no police department report. I was wondering if the chief could give us a verbal.
is the chief on the line?
I am on the line. Is there no police update?
There is none.
Well, I don't know
There
why
is
that's
no,
the case.
okay.
I don't know why that's the case because I submitted one, but do you have a specific question?
Well, I was just wondering if, you know, our contacts with the public normal, our arrests normal?
Well,
You know,
we,
are there any problems?
we had gone for a period where the number of calls for service was higher. The number of reports was higher, but the number of arrests were average or lower. That appears to have slacked off. We've increased the number of arrests in the last couple of weeks. One of the reasons that arrest is down is because the jail is not accepting anybody. And so we are not pursuing warrant arrests like we used to. Basically, the only time we do a warrant arrest is if somebody comes to the station and asks to have a warrant cleared. One of the things that did happen in this reporting period is the department conducted a probation search at a house on Willow. Approximately 500 pounds of marijuana was observed but not seized due to the problems of storing that much marijuana. Personal use amounts of methamphetamine and prescription opioid drugs was seized. The subjects of the search were not home at the time, so a declaration in support of a warrant's been sent to the district attorney's office. One of the things that we did discover is that the marijuana was used for a mechanical extraction process. where it doesn't use butane, so it's not nearly as dangerous, but the idea is to separate concentrated marijuana from the rest of the plant. And that is being handled through the code enforcement process. There were no extraordinary calls for service at 355 Center. The number of calls for service was probably the same or maybe even a little bit lower than the previous reporting period. That has changed in the last week. However, we've been there several times in the last week. And if you have any specific questions, I'll try and answer them. I don't know why the report didn't make it into the agenda packet.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Is that all, Councilmember Johnson?
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chief, if you can maybe just throw that in our inboxes, that would be great. Councilmember Wilson?
I have no questions at this time, except that I would make a comment that the intersection down here at ELO and Scenic is, with the painting, is really looks phenomenal. And I think the painting really cleared it up. And I see people obeying the stop signs there, and that's comforting. So I'd like to thank staff for that great job that was accomplished down here.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Strawn?
Yeah, I just also have a comment on the HEP project there. I was wondering if Gordon did anybody do a punch list with these people? Under the bridges on the north side, it looks like they did grading, and is it just being left there? Are they picking that up, going to put in some shoulder backing, or what's going to happen there? And also the bike lane coming off the freeway towards Bellevue. What happened there? That looks like they ran a little shy of mix. Just wondering what was happening there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just quickly, there is a punch list that we're working through. Certainly would encourage council members to get in touch with staff over their concerns. But yeah, there is a slight deviation from the plan that the contractor will be fixing. So, and the project's not over yet.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any anyone from the public dialed in to make a comment on this particular topic of the staff update? I'm gonna say that means no. So we will then move on to special call items. Page 108, authorized participation in the self-generation incentive program and approval of agreement with Tesla to install related battery power supply. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So staff became aware earlier in July about an opportunity to secure an emergency power supply for the corporation yard with funding derived through the Equity Resilience Self-Generation Incentive Program through CPUC in the state of California. So the offering is precipitated by last year's public safety power shutoffs. And so essentially the state is offering equity communities, so disadvantaged communities, some additional financial assistance for this Tesla operational power storage facility. So based on the criteria that are listed, the city does believe that it is competitive for these funds. So a facility basically needs to be designated as critical. So down at the corporation yard, we have the wastewater facilities. So that would be designated essential and critical facilities. It needs to be located in a disadvantaged community, which Rio Dell is. And then it's experienced public safety power shutoff events, which Rio Dell has as well. So on that basic criteria, we believe we match all of those requirements. However, the funding is definitely going to be attractive to a lot of different entities, and so timing is important on this one to move forward because they're at least halfway subscribed in terms of available funding. And by the time we're able to submit and sign off on an application, they may already be fully funded, or all of the available funds may already be allocated. So this is not necessarily a slam dunk, but it's definitely worth pursuing from staff's vantage point. The project would add essentially to the resiliency of the energy supply down at the plant. We do have a large 600 kW generator. Another advantage of the project is it would be projected to save potentially up to $300,000 through management of the system, where power is essentially purchased at low cost periods of time and then sold it or used at the plant at higher energy cost windows. So Tesla in the agreement would manage and maintain the system, but the system would become an asset of the city. So we've done kind of a cursory analysis of some of the potential costs associated with the city, and we do find that they're within an acceptable range for the benefit that the project offers. So if the council wants to move forward with this project, we're still working with the city attorney on any of the documents that would be signed. There's just some minor complications with the fact that dealing with a public entity like a city, virtually everything that we do is a matter of public record. And so a private company just needs to simply recognize that issue. And I don't think that'll be in any way a problem. But we do have on the line Brian Ward from Tesla, who is much more of an expert on what is being offered here and can certainly provide more detail in terms of what the system that they've analyzed could do down at the corporation yard for the city. So we'll make sure that Brian is unmuted. And again, anybody who wants to provide public comment on this item, you would dial *9 to raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and unmute you and make you available towards the end during public comment. But right now, Brian Ward should be unmuted, and I'll just hand it over to him. Thank you.
Yes, Kyle, thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So certainly Kyle's provided an excellent synopsis of the program and the benefits. I can certainly provide a deeper dive into any aspects of the program. If there are any specific questions. Ultimately, Tesla has partnered with folks such like yourself in critical infrastructure to offer a turnkey solution. This is a $0 contract for qualifying critical infrastructure, so there is no outlay of capital for the city. And there is a tremendous amount of material value in the program that is allocated and will be subscribed to and deployed somewhere within PG&E territory in the coming months. City of Rio Dell is certainly well positioned to take advantage of the resiliency, and your location generally in a high fire threat district that has suffered PSPS events is what this program and budget was carved out for. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from council or the public if that's necessary.
Thank you very much. So I will turn it over to the council. I'm excited about it. I hope we can do it. But anyway, Mayor Pro Tem Woodall. You're possibly on mute, Mayor Pro Tem Woodall.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree with you. It's a great idea, and I hope we can qualify for it.
Thank you. Councilmember Strawn?
Yeah, looks great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Just a couple questions. I think Kyle may have answered them already. This system will be charged from the grid itself.
That is correct. It will charge from the grid at off-peak periods of time throughout the year, and discharge for the treatment plant's usage at on-peak times. It's that energy arbitrage that is forecasted to reduce the PG&E bill exposure roughly 27% first year.
Does it have the like transfer switch capability for like in the PSPS moment?
Absolutely. So our Power Pack commercial energy storage asset is deployed globally right now. Response time's 200 milliseconds. So if the grid were to go out at the facility today, if this asset was deployed and commissioned, within 200 milliseconds, the battery, which sits between the utility and your generator right now, would start discharging. Your generator and ATS wouldn't even know that the grid was out. If the outage is prolonged to the point where the batteries have become depleted, that is when your asset and your current diesel genset would kick in. What this does in a PSPS event is buy you guys time at a fully charged duration on your nominal load. This complete asset is modeled to provide roughly 19 hours of lifeboating resiliency. So PG&E could lose power for 19 hours before your generator would need to be kicked in on your guys' nominal annual load.
And then it can also do shaving on our, like you said, on our
Absolutely.
For our
That's correct. That is actually a requirement of SJET equity resiliency. Cycling at on-peak periods of time is required a minimum of 52 cycles once a week. So it's actually 104 charge discharge cycles throughout the year. That is a requirement to reduce PG&E's carbon footprint. So at those peak times when energy is expensive, that's where PG&E has to deploy peaker assets across the grid. With this energy storage on-site facility, the treatment plant's load won't be required to be facilitated through peaker plant somewhere on the grid.
Okay, and then last question: Are you working at all with RCEA?
So our group is actually, and we say working with. We are in dialogue. They're actually with part of the programs that they're running throughout Humboldt County and and the coastal area. They are on board and actually working with us with some public and private entities.
Because that's, I know one of the big things that they're trying to get is a battery backup. That the
Correct.
state is looking for. So this would be as the other council members have said, I'm excited about this, and I saw too in here that it would eventually be able to, if we went towards solar, that we could adapt solar to this.
That is correct. Whether it's through Tesla Energy or another vendor down the road, our storage assets are designed to interface with renewable generation on site. So if that's something the city is looking at down the road, certainly have the ability. And at that point, you'd extend duration. So during a PSPS event, if you had solar on site, you would be able to use the energy from the batteries and your solar asset, and then in excess generation, charge the batteries back even if the grid was out. So
sounds exciting. I hope this goes through. Thank you.
Me too. Councilmember Johnson?
I absolutely agree with the other council members. That sounds fantastic for the city, and hopefully our application will warrant approval of, and we'll be able to move forward with it.
Thank you. Back to city manager. Do you need anything else from us besides saying, yay, you can do this? You should follow through with it.
Yeah, there should be a recommended motion here.
Okay, authorized participation in the Equity Resiliency SGIP with Tesla, and further authorize staff to enter into necessary agreements and authorize construction of the proposed battery bank facility at the City of Rio Dell Courtyard. Is there a motion to?
So moved by Johnson.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Councilmember Wilson. A roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Woodall,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Strand,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Garnes.
Yes. 5-0. I'm excited. Okay, we will now move on to, oh, no, that's wrong. I didn't ask about public comment. Oops. So,
again, anybody interested in providing public comment, please dial *9 for this particular item, the Tesla battery and the CPUC energy grant. So we do have, it looks like, one public comment, and it's from a phone number that ends in 8138. So go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I'm just new to the city council meetings and new to Rio Dell, but this is really awesome. What a great opportunity. So I'm excited to hear about this, and hopefully we get it.
thank you.
So
Could
thank
you,
you.
could you state your name, please?
Yeah, it's Amanda Steinbach.
Thank you. And thank you for participating in our meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so fortunately, that was a positive thing, so we don't really have to try and revote. So that's okay.
And again, *9 if there's any other public comment. *9.
Thank you.
And Mayor Garnes, we're not seeing any other hands up.
Thank you. So now we will move on to the letter to Danco regarding public safety at River Bluff Cottages. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. This item is on page 137 of your packet. So just a quick little recap. At the council's direction, back on June 2nd, staff returned on June 2nd with a letter to the Danco group related to public safety concerns with the River Bluff Cottages. So the letter was approved by the council on June 16th. And the letter was also issued shortly after the June 16th meeting, and again shortly after our last meeting back on July 21st. So at that point in time, staff was unaware of any response from Danco related to that. However, in reading a Times Standard article, it became clear that Danco had sent a copy of a letter to the news media, which we did not have access to. And so staff did distribute that letter that we received only today after requesting it. And so it should have been in your packet also for a closed session. So I just want to make sure the council has that response letter. And with that, staff will return that, return to the council.
Thank you, City Manager. City Council, Mayor Pro Tem Woodall.
Not right now.
Okay, Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. I believe the letter from Danco answers all of our questions, and I thank them for it.
Thank you. Councilmember Strawn.
Yeah, the only comment I have is I'm glad to see Danco did make a response. Not sure why the city didn't have that in hand, and it's published in the paper, but that's interesting. It does state that we do have security on site, but that security is 40 hours per week, not 24/7. although they have installed, it looks like, further surveillance cameras and the liking. I still don't believe that that is what was told us at our public meeting, that there would be a guard present, someone there 24/7. And because of our police response that we've had, because our force has had to step in so many times. And I'm sorry that we don't have the police report this time to see, what the last 2 weeks was like. It still concerns me that they are not living up to what they promised us in the beginning. And also what is happening with DHHS. There's no response to that, which of course Danco wouldn't respond to that, but that was also part of the promise to us in taking care of these people.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson.
I saw the letter and I don't know if I question it or it's, I know we were told things about a manager and the surveillance that doesn't seem to be consistent with what the letter says. So I don't, if there's any way to verify that all of this is being taken care of. I believe we were told there was going to be 24-hour surveillance. And I don't totally understand this manager situation. We were told there wasn't a manager and now we're being told there is. So it just seems unclear to me that we're getting the accurate information. I'm concerned about that. That's my only comment.
Thank you. City Manager, is there any way that someone from Danco could actually come and just, rather than just a letter, is that something they're willing to do, or is that something we'd have to fight to get them to do, or
So
just come in
my understanding,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
go ahead.
my understanding is we do have Latasha from Danco who is on the line, and so I think we can go ahead and unmute her and then see if Latasha has some comments.
Thank you.
Okay. Latasha, you'll have to unmute your phone by dialing *5.
*6.
Or *6, sorry.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you for being here, Latasha. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I hope you all are doing well. I do want to respond. I'm not sure where you guys are hearing about the manager situation. Our manager did go on leave for a short period of time, but she has been back. And even when she was gone, we had somebody there immediately in her place full time. I'm happy to work with you guys and find a way that you guys are satisfied to see that that is actually happening. I did write up a response to read to you guys tonight also. So if you don't mind, I can do that now.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a general statement. River Bluff being a service-based property, we do have biweekly meetings that include myself, the resident service coordinator from DHHS, Jacqueline from DHHS, she's the liaison for the home program, the caseworkers, the on-site manager, the regional manager. The purpose of those meetings is to identify any concerning issues that have come out throughout the week and to come up with a plan of action to address it. In the spirit of transparency and in an effort to bring the community together, I would like to personally invite a few officials to join those meetings. The fire chief, the police chief, the city manager, and the mayor are all welcome to participate and can see how we're managing the property at the site level and see how we're addressing those issues as they come up. I can send an invite out tomorrow. Our aim is always to be improving our communities, and this is part of that mission. We are all in this together, and I do look forward to working with the city of Rio Dell on this. My response to some of the concerns expressed in the letter to us, I already kind of spoke on it. At no time since occupancy began was the property left without an on-site manager, and I can work with you guys to get some kind of verification on that. And then
As promised, we do have 24-hour surveillance on site, and we have daily standard practices in place to ensure that footage is reviewed regularly. The property also has a security guard that works weekend, evening, and graveyard shifts throughout the week as an additional means to secure the property and protect the tenants. We are also reevaluating the need for more security weekly during our meetings. Since opening, we've self-assessed the need to alarm the gates as we've had many non-residents coming through them and trespassing on the property. We also added more cameras and adjusted some others to reduce any blind spots. I did have some comments on the list of service calls that came to our property. It looks like about 1/3 of the 60 calls were follow-up visits. And that leaves about roughly 40 calls remaining. 40 calls in 4 months' time is an average of 10 calls per month. And it looks like 5 of those resulted in an actual case. And I'm not discrediting the seriousness of those calls or cases. So we're averaging 10 calls per month with less than one per month resulting in a case. And half of those calls came in during regular business hours when we do have on-site staff. Some of those calls even came from us. Our site has fewer calls than the average in California for this type of housing, and we've had less and less bumps along the road as time has gone on. We do believe we are effectively managing this property, and we are open to the community collaboration to continue on a path of growth. I hope you all have a good evening and stay safe.
Thank you. Did she actually hang up, or are there?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Are there any questions from, thank you, Letitia. Are there any questions from council? Councilmember Strawn.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Oh, hang on, we've had sorry, Councilmember.
That's okay. Hello. So for
You're
the
on.
month of March, there were 26 calls made. You know, it's a burden on our police. This was the one thing we were concerned about as a community. So I'm very happy to hear that you're having bi-weekly meetings, and I'm happy that hopefully our city manager will be able to attend and can report to us on these. This is one of the reasons I wanted a community action, local people. So if you're still interested in that, Kyle, I have some names of people if your time is too busy. But it's something we need to protect our police department from. This was promised to us by Danco that you guys would take care of this. So I appreciate you reaching out and having bi-weekly meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Strawn. Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Wilson, anything? Any questions?
I'm unmuted. I got it unmuted here. I'm sorry. Hopefully that we can take advantage of the offer that she's extended to our staff and city personnel to go down and look this over and clarify the questions that we have. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson? Councilmember Johnson, any comment or question? Okay, is he still there? Kyle? 305.
3050. Gordon, can you hear us? We cannot hear you.
Yeah, my phone got totally discharged. Thank you. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Woodall.
Yeah, I have a question for Chief Connor. So if we do a follow-up call, it's still taking up our time, right? And do we always do follow-up calls on, what does a follow-up call consist of? I mean, you're going out there, what, to check to see if things have been rectified, or what is the follow-up call?
So follow-up is a term, when you advise dispatch that you're out at 355 Center, you have to give them some idea of why you're there. And follow-up is the generally used generic term for I'm there to talk to somebody, but it doesn't meet any of the other criteria. So it could be a follow-up on an existing case, which is probably true for about a third of the follow-up cases on that list. And the rest of them are they're just there and that was the first thing that came to their mind.
Okay, but we still are responding to it. So even though it's a follow-up call, it's still taking our time to follow up on it, right?
That's correct. And in the majority of cases, it is a fresh call, not following up on something that has already occurred.
Okay, thank you. That answers that question. My other thought was, and I had asked Chief about this today, some of the properties, not Danco properties, and at Eureka at one time, when they were having excessive calls, the council passed the resolution, it was passed that they would be charged for excessive calls. And I just thought maybe at some point, if this didn't settle down, that maybe we might want to look at that too, to where that we charged for excessive calls to help recoup on what our officers are spending time there for. That's all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Woodall. Are there, City Clerk, there is a public comment. Is that a true thing? City Clerk? Was there a
Can you hear
public?
me?
Okay, I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, yes, no, the public comment was from Latasha. So yeah, she spoke already.
Okay.
Yes, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then, is there any other action other than, I mean, I would appreciate the invitation and the ability to, participate in the biweekly meetings. I appreciate that you came out, Latasha, and I don't know, there's no action because there was a letter in response. And so I think that this is a good first step that we're having this conversation with you. Hopefully we can come back and have more information for the council. And I hope that in future, if we need to have another conversation with you, that you would be willing to come back and have that conversation.
I am available. I'll send out my contact information directly to all four of you that I spoke about, and then I'll send out the invitation for the meeting and the schedule. Also.
Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
And so I think that closes that, and that seems to bring us to the end of our agenda. Are there any council reports? Oh,
I just had a,
go ahead.
am I unmuted? Okay. I was just going to say that I had noticed quite an increase in graffiti again. I mean, for a while it hadn't been too bad. And I was wondering if we could possibly call Caltrans about the graffiti on the bridge and get that taken care of. And there's a lot of graffiti now down at the ballpark, the old ballpark down at our tennis courts. And it's getting pretty bad down there. And that's all I wanted to say. And I have a Humboldt Transit meeting tomorrow, and I'll report on that next time.
Thank you. And I don't know if that's something that would need to be agendized, talking about the graffiti. We can't certainly have a big conversation about it now because it isn't on the agenda, but it is definitely something that we should address.
No, I didn't expect to. I just wanted to mention it because it looks like a different person.
Right. I understood
Yeah.
that. I just thought maybe that is a conversation we need to have as a council.
Okay.
Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. Last meeting, I reported that last chance grade stakeholders would be having a meeting probably sometime in September. The date has been set for September 16th, and following that meeting, I'll be making a report to council. Also, I would like the staff to arrange for a traffic committee meeting in the near future, if possible.
He's writing it down. I can see it.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Yes, nothing really to report, but I want to go back to that public comment. Gentlemen, is that something that's, is there a way to get that looked into with his, first of all, I did not receive, to my knowledge, any letter from him, so I don't know where that went. If it didn't come through our email correctly or whatever, but is there some way that we can do something to address this?
The normal procedure would be through the Nuisance Committee. So that's the committee you have for those type of issues.
Okay, can we refer that to the Nuisance Committee then?
Yeah, so any of those type of complaints are referred to the Nuisance Committee.
That'll be great.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
think, he was trying to make a stress point on this one is what I'm pretty sure Councilmember Wilson's trying to do. And so I did get the email, and I gave the family the address, the email addresses of the Nuisance Committee members. So if you haven't received them, hopefully you will. And hopefully if the gentleman is still engaged, he will know that he needs to resend them so that the council can get them. And there's pictures and there's a letter and it goes back for a while. So definitely, I hope that the Nuisance Committee puts this up there and actually takes a hard look at it. So thank you for bringing that up.
Deborah,
Mm-hmm.
Deborah, can you give us copies of yours without him resending? Can you just give us a copy of what you received?
Can I do that, City Manager?
Yes.
I mean, is that not against the rules or something?
Oh, no.
Okay, then yes, I will forward it to both.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Strawn?
No, I have nothing to report, although I want to say I'm sorry I was not at the closed session. I had something happening right at 5. And then I tried to get on and I didn't have the number. And so sorry, couldn't get in. I tried.
Okay, thank you for that. I did get your email that you weren't gonna be able to at the beginning anyway. So thank you. I have nothing to report. I think we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Johnson.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. A motion, have a second? I'll second it. Okay, and we will see you all. Stay healthy and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Meeting adjourned.